Now, there are 12 universal laws, and these are universal in the sense that they apply to all beings on this planet, okay? So the first law is the law of divine oneness. Law number 2 is law of vibration. Law number 3 is law of attraction. Law number 4 is law of correspondence. Law number 5 is law of action. Law number 6 is law of cause and effect. Law number 7 is law of compensation. Law number 8 is law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Law number 9 is the law of relativity. Law number 10 is law of polarity. Law number 11 is law of rhythm. And law number 12 is law of gender. Okay, now as you can hear, all these laws are presented in our society, our present day government-led society, in its own type of falseness, right? In the sense that these laws are presented in society as if the government is God, right? But universal laws come to all of us as if God is not a physical human being on this planet, but as if it is all the humans can agree to be on one accord, right? On these things. And none of these things are bound by law enforcement, right? And that is because if we do follow the universal laws, and we also follow, understanding dimensions, and we follow nature, there is no need for law enforcement. Because as we know, law enforcement polices individuals, right? But within the universe, we should be following laws and universal laws, right, that govern our autonomy, right? Because governing our autonomy, right, is understanding that I'm not the only pepperoni on the pizza, but I am a part of what makes this a pepperoni pie. So we're going to get into the universal laws. Okay, now the first law, the law of divine oneness. This law pretty much emphasizes the presence of autonomy on this planet. The law of oneness reminds us that everything on this planet has its own frequency and its own vibration, right? Therefore, it is truly connected to everything else, and it has its own place, right? Therefore, it is always impacted, by its surroundings. Therefore, the divine oneness law reminds us to be mindful, right? And mindfulness is pretty much the key factor of autonomy. The second law, the law of vibrations, reminds us that we really do have spidey senses, right? And our spidey senses speak to us, and they're speaking to us intuitively, and we have to follow these intuitive vibes, right? Law of vibrations. Everything is frequency and vibrations. If you zoom in with a microscope, we're human beings, inanimate objects, cups of coffee, packs of rolling papers. We're all just small little pieces of material just vibrating in the air very, very close together, right? So the law of vibration lets us know that, it brings us back to the law of oneness. If everything is connected, us vibrating is showing our connection. You vibrate high, you vibrate low, right? When people come around, you sense their vibration, right? Because everything is constantly moving. We're always moving and moving nonstop. Okay, the law of attraction. Now, people often use law of attraction to try to make more money, and that's cool, but you can't just use that one law by itself. The law of attraction has to be combined with all of the laws to really see some traction, right? And the main reason why we don't see abundance when it comes to law of attraction is because we're just not matched up to it frequency-wise, right? And I love how one law always brings us back to the previous law. When we go back now to the law of oneness and the law of vibration, everything is connected and everything is vibrating. So we do have to be vibrational matches to what we want, right? So if we're vibrating, right, on a new set of candles, we want a new set of candles, just using an example, then we have to match that vibration by establishing purposes for those candles and getting those materials going, gathering those materials. This way, the frequency of what you're doing and the frequency of what you want, in this example, the candles, they'll be matched up, and you'll be able to bring those candles into your reality. And followed behind that is the law of correspondence, and this goes right hand in hand with the law of attraction. Now, correspondence, corresponding, that word in itself, it means communicating, right? Going back and forth. I need to be able to correspond with you, right? Now, with the law of correspondence, your alignment needs to correspond with that vibration, right? So your vibration needs to correspond with that alignment that you're trying to get to, right? And we do this by not only changing, just the external or just the internal, but we do it by getting clear and changing both of them, right? And having a clear slate and building on both sides. Now, on both sides, right? So externally means is the action, the inspired actions that you're going to take, meaning like using our previous example, the inspired action of you going out to different stores and checking the prices of different candles, or you just looking up candles online, being more engaged with the candles that you already have. This inspired action, it has to be combined, right, with the vibration and the frequency levels of our mindset, right? So it shouldn't feel like a struggle trying to get these candles, right? You need to kind of have like that whole put it in the Lord's hands mentality, as and the Lord meaning, put it in the Creator's hands, the universe's hands, putting in the hands of the law of correspondence, putting in the hands of the law of attraction, putting in the hands of your faith, right? So that you can get results. And the next law, the law of action, we kind of talked about that with the previous law. Now, with the law of action, it's that inspired action that I mentioned with the previous law, with the law of correspondence, right? That inspired action. Sometimes people don't want to take steps, small steps. They want to get to straight to the goal, but those small steps, those are inspired action steps that you're going to take towards the goal, and that's all a part of the law of action. And now the law of cause and effect. We all know this law very well. For every action, there is a reaction, and everything is balanced, right? If you want love, you got to give love. Whatever you put out in the universe, that is what you will receive back. Many of us don't understand this law. We put out a lot of fear and a lot of hate and a lot of jealousy, hoping to get the opposite in return. And the law of cause and effects helps us to understand why this might be considered not the best thing to do. Now, the law of transmuting energy, right? This is also called like a superpower law. It's awesome. As we mentioned before, we are all frequency and vibration, and we're moving and changing, and we're sensing one another's energy and vibrations, right? Now, transmuting energy, this is how you're able to not take on other people's vibration if that's not what you want to do, right? You can keep that energy at bay, and if you do want to partake in that type of energy, you can also do that as well. Right? The option is yours, and being able to have the option is exercising the law of transmuting energy. It's a very, 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 very important law. It can definitely save you from being able to receive unwanted energy, and it definitely help you with putting out good energy. All right, the law of relativity. This law reminds us that things and experiences aren't good or bad. They are neutral. Our perception of it compartmentalizes our experiences, and then it helps us develop, you know, you know, ideas and opinions on things. And sometimes these ideas and opinions hold us back versus pushing us forward, and that could be a problem. So law of relativity is everything is relative to who's going through the situation, how those people deal with the situation, and not necessarily what the situation is. It's definitely all about how you look at it, relativity, relative perspective. You know, your inner circle, what you see. You know. The next is law of rhythm. Law of rhythm reminds us not that everything is in a loop, right? But rather that everything happens during its timing, right? During its own time, right? There's a time for the snow to come and for the leaves to fall, and there's a time for the flowers to bloom, and the sun to rise. Everything has its own function and its own rhythm within this thing, right? And this will also support the law of vibration, the law of oneness. It supports every law that has come before it, because it just reminds us and brings us back to our connection, rhythm, us being small atoms vibrating very, very close together and being able to continue on through our daily lives while being able to keep that cadence, while making other music sometimes, while making sounds and doing things like that. So this pretty much keeps us, that applies to everything. Like these laws, they apply to everything on this planet. It applies to the planet itself, the water, the trees, the air, the fire, the animals, everything, the people, everything, right? So when it comes to people, this helps to remind us that rhythm is life and life is rhythm. Therefore, when you're sad, be patient and be still, you will be happy again. When you're happy, be patient, be still, you will be sad. When you're broke, be happy, be patient, you will have money again. Everything happens at its own time during its own season. My favorite example of this is in the hospital room when they got that ticker, when you hear the line going up and down, right? You've heard this example. A lot of people have said this example. The line going up and down is means you're alive. When it's steady and it's straight, it means you're dead. And I think that's a great example to use for this particular law. Now, the next law, the law of gender. This is the last law, but it's definitely not the least popular law or the least important law. The law of gender, pretty much. The law of gender reminds us to take sex out of gender, right? Male and female are sexual organs, and they have nothing to do with energy. All right, nothing to do with energy, everything to do with having sex, as far as gender. And this is because the gender and the components of masculine and feminine are embodied in other things besides human beings, right? And the masculine and the feminine aspect, people say that the masculine aspect, that's the practical, the visionary. The feminine aspect is the nurturer, right? These feminine aspects can be found in men and women, and they can also be found in the moon, right? And that masculine energy can be found in men and women, and it also can be found in the sun, right? And we manifest both of these properties on a daily basis, and we shouldn't restrict ourselves with attaching them to any type of specific sexual organ. All right, so those are the 12 universal laws. I'm glad that we went over them. I truly believe that as a autonomous human being on this planet, once you have a good understanding of universal laws, nature, and dimensions, you're definitely on your way to being able to create the lifestyle and the life that you want. Okay, after this video, the next video you hear from me, we're going to talk about spirituality and money. Peace out.